Anuriti, can you please let in people who are waiting?
Yes, ma'am, but I don't see any request to admit. I'll admit everyone.
No, if there are any requests, please do let them. All right?
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Sir, if you can request your wife to try joining again in case she hasn't joined. So we are ready for you. Whenever, is it okay?
I know, but I maybe some problem with her internet connection. I don't know.
So maybe she can try again, sir.
Yeah, she's trying. She'll keep trying. So we.
Okay. So because Anuriti is letting in whoever's request is coming.
Okay.
So with your permission, sir.
Yes.
I'm honored to welcome and introduce the speaker of the day, Professor Raghvendra Gadagkar. Though I cannot claim much interaction with Professor Gadagkar, I've been following his research and academic studies for quite some time. And I've had the opportunity to briefly interact with him at the first ICEP conference at JNCSR. I thank you, sir, for having agreed so readily for giving this lecture, and most importantly, for rescheduling it so willingly when our convocation came up. Professor Gadagkar is, I would say, one of the most erudite scientists in India. He, through his clarity of thoughts and vision, has led the charge in showcasing that animal behavior, ecology and evolution are areas of research in which Indian scientists can contribute a great global level science. He, through his work and through his multiple interactions time and again with academics, researchers, young scientists and students, has emphasized the need for Indian workers to contribute in these areas, and also how good science does not necessarily require big money. Professor Gadagkar is currently Year of Science Chair Professor at the Center for Ecological Sciences, IISc, Chairman, Center for Contemporary Studies, IISc, Honorary Professor, JNCSR, Honorary Professor, ISER Mohali, Non-Resident Permanent Fellow of the Institute for Advanced Study in Berlin, and Founder, President, Fellow and Life Member of the Indian Society of Evolutionary Biologists. He has published over 250 research papers and articles in 2 books. His book entitled Survival Strategies, which was published in 1997 by Harvard University Press, has been translated into Chinese and Korean, and it targets a general audience with regards to behavioral ecology and social biology. His book in 2001, The Social Biology of Rhopolidelia, is about the insect that he has loved for most of his life, and it summarizes 20 years of his research. His extraordinary work has been recognized via Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Prize, the M. Birla Science Prize, Homi Bhabha Fellowship, H.K. Firodia Award, Third World Academy of Sciences Award in Biology, and many more. He is an elected fellow of all the three science academies and was also president of the Indian National Science Academy. He is also fellow of the Academy of Sciences for the Developing World, foreign associate of the National Academy of Sciences USA, and German National Science Academy Leopoldina. He is founder chair of the Center for Contemporary Studies, his own experiment through which he is attempting to engage practitioners of different disciplines, the best practitioners in areas such as philosophy, sociology, economics, law, literature, poetry, to try and forge meaningful interactions and discussions between natural and human sciences, especially with the aim of understanding diverse research methodologies of different disciplines, and create opportunities to rethink our own disciplines. During the past 35 years, he has established an active school of research in the area of animal behavior, ecology, and evolution. His emphasis is on the on the wasp Rhopalidea, the origin and evolution of cooperation in animals, especially such social insects such as Rhopalidea. Ants, bees, and wasps is a major goal of his research. And today I am honored, and I'm sure all of our students and faculty and other people who've joined us are extremely excited about hearing your thoughts on the subject, sir. I give the stage to you.
Thank
sir.
you very much, Geetanjali. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You're perfectly audible, sir.
Can you see me and my slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay, wonderful. I'm delighted to have this opportunity, especially on this very, very momentous occasion of the centenary of the famed Lucknow University. I've had the pleasure of visiting your university a long time ago, and I'm delighted that you are celebrating it with academic activities such as these lectures. I've already seen announcement of other lectures. I am honored to be one of the speakers. Yes, I will speak about my lifelong love, which is, I have called this, can we understand an insect society? As most of you would know, several species of insects such as ants, bees, wasps, termites, and they organize legitimately called societies. Not at all unreasonable to compare their societies with our society. And in many ways, they parallel our societies. They have communication, division of labor, social organization, they have communication, they have cooperation, they have democracy, they have dictatorship, or everything that you see in our society, you can actually see in their society. Even more interesting, they actually appear to be better than us in some ways as we go along. So it seems very reasonable to think of them as societies. The question, of course, is, can one society of one species actually claim to understand the workings of another society of another species? Now, I don't think we should take the answer for granted. I think we should keep the question open. And throughout my research career, I have kept this question open. And also in my books and talks, I keep the question open. I ask the question, can we really understand an insect society? And I convey to my audience various things that we have done in an attempt to understand and convey what we think we have understood. Now it's up to the audience to decide whether in fact we can understand. Well, ideally I would like the wasps to answer this question, but I'm not sure how to ask them, but certainly the audience should decide whether we can actually understand, or whether we as researchers have understood. Perhaps the audience will come up with other things to be done. So that's the kind of attitude I take in these lectures. Let me start with a very brief introduction to saying what are insect societies. Can you see the next slide? I have changed the slide. The next slide says what are insect societies, because there may be...
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wonderful.
It's visible.
Wonderful. So let me begin, of course, with honeybees, which are the most famous and popular insect societies. Honeybees, as everybody knows, live in large populous colonies, and they display all the features of a society. In a particular bee colony, you will actually find three kinds of bees. There is one single large fertile female, which we call the queen, and she's the only one who actually reproduces in the colony. She produces sons and daughters. Her sons, the males, are called drones. The drones do not participate in social life. Within a few days of closing from their pupal cases, they actually leave the parent nest in search of virgin queens from other colonies. They mate with these virgin queens of foreign colonies, and they actually die in the process of mating, in the act of population. So they have no other life other than copulating and donating sperm to future queens of other colonies. The queen's daughters are smaller females. They are essentially sterile, although in principle they could lay eggs, but they are incapable of mating. In the presence of the queen, they do not even lay the few eggs they are capable of. Although in the absence of the queen, they might be able to lay a few unfertilized eggs because they cannot mate. But they really do all the work that is required to run the society. They clean, they build the nest, they repair the nest, they clean the nest, they feed the larvae, they bring food, they process food, they guard the nest, then they go out and bring food, perform the famous bee dance and all of that. So the queen really does only two things. She lays eggs, and she is a remarkable egg-laying machine. She consumes food and converts them into eggs, and she can lay eggs at the rate of several thousand eggs per day. And other than that, she somewhat passively releases a host of chemical substances, which we call pheromones, and those pheromones help the colony to be organized, not in a top-down leader kind of manner, but in a very decentralized manner. But all the rest of the work is really done by the workers. Here you see a picture of a queen, and you can see that the queen is larger than the rest of the workers, and the queen is usually surrounded by a group of workers, a small number, 10, 12, 15 workers. And if you watch these work, you will find that these workers, we might say in our language, are on special royal duty. Their job is to clean the queen, lick the queen, feed her, groom her, take care of her. She apparently has no time for any of these things, but she's just busy laying eggs, moving from one part of the nest to the other, finding an empty cell where she can lay an egg. And they do all the rest. And you can see as she moves, the whole retinue moves along with her. In fact, we call this the royal retinue. If you watch this carefully, you will find something very interesting and actually initially quite surprising. After about 10-15 minutes, you will find that the workers who are doing this job apparently seem to lose interest and go off and do something else. And other workers come and replace them and join the royal retinue. It turns out that this kind of working in shifts for taking care of the queen has important consequences for the colony, because the chemicals that the queen produces then are actually received by a very large fraction of the workforce, because they keep changing, and then it helps for these chemicals to be distributed throughout. Chemicals are sufficiently volatile, some of them are not so volatile, and they spread through the workers who are with the queen now and go off and touch another worker later on and so on. So this is a very interesting way of chemical communication. Half of their lives the workers work at home, cleaning, building, feeding the larvae, etc. The second half of their life they go out in search of food. Their food consists of two items, pollen and nectar, both of which of course they gather from flowers. You can see a bee here. I don't know whether you can see this bee. I have here a single bee hovering over a flower. And
it's visible, sir.
The bee has actually tucked pollen grains on both its hind legs in what we call pollen baskets. It stores the nectar in the crop, and the pollen in pollen baskets, flies back home to deliver these. But in addition to deliver this, she is able to perform a dance through which she is able to communicate to other bees at home what she has found, where she has found it, how far, in what direction to go. And if the naive bees at home watch her, based on the knowledge they gain from watching her, they are able to go and find this food, which may be several kilometers away or one tree, but they are able to find it without being guided by her. So bees also have this very, very unusual for the rest of the animal kingdom, what we humans call a language. So they have a symbolic communication system, which is called the bee dance language. This was deciphered by the German scientist, zoologist Carl von Frisch, for which he was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1970.